Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us this morning. Welcome back to those of you that have been on previous webinars. As usual, we do try to keep these to 40 minutes to make best use of our time. Everybody tends to be fairly busy at the moment, so we've got lots to get through. So I will sort of move on fairly quickly. If there's any questions as we go along, feel free. You've got the sort of the question app in your screens. Feel free to ask questions. If we can get to them, we will do. But please be assured that if we don't manage to get to all of the questions, then we'll be in contact to answer those as we go. So I hope you enjoy the session. Okay, so quickly, just to introduce myself, I'm Mr. Graham. I'm the Client Relationship Director here at CMI. So what does that mean? Well, ultimately, through my team, we're responsible for making sure that we keep our clients informed, educated about technology, and help them plan for their sort of future use of technology. Really, just to make sure you get the maximum impact that technology can provide to your business. I'd like to introduce Johan and Claudia. Johan, do you want to say a couple of words?
Yeah, thanks, Graham. Good morning. My name is Johan. I'm Head of Modern Workplace for CMI. With this role, I'll be working closely with my colleagues to make sure we are able to support our clients to evolve their business towards the modern workplace. A key part of my role is to work, with our clients to understand their business challenges that modern workplace can solve. In today's presentation, I'll do a short demo of our intranet site, which will hopefully give you better ideas on how you could potentially use SharePoint for your business.
Thanks, Johan. And Claudio. Claudio is from our partner Shortpoint. So thanks for joining us. Claudio, do you want to say a couple of words, introduce yourself?
Sure. Hello, everybody. This is Claudio from Shortpoint. I'm the Shortpoint consultant for Europe. And I'll give you a brief introduction to the software later on during this webinar.
Excellent. Thank you both. Good. Okay, so let's take a quick look really at what I am hoping and expecting for you all to achieve out of today's session. So, it's really about raising awareness, as all of our webinar sessions are, today around what a modern intranet can help your business achieve, really. And I'm referencing modern intranet because we'll cover off in a slide later. Obviously, intranets aren't new, but it's really to make sure we understand with modern technology and our current use of technology how an intranet plays its part. I want to banish some of these outdated thoughts that maybe some of us that were working in sort of the 90s and the zeros that have maybe had experience of intranets before. They are different these days for a number of reasons, so we need to sort of banish that thought. And of course, we'll provide you a bit more of a visual demonstration that Johan and Claudia will provide to help bring it to life a little bit more. So I'm going to take probably 20 minutes in today's session to sort of give you some background, really, and then I'll hand over to the other guys to give you another 15-20 minutes of the live demos. Cool. So what is a modern intranet? Well, really, let's not worry too much about the term intranet, portal, whatever you may want to call it. But really, it's about helping your people to do their best work, to do that securely, and to do it from anywhere. And really, that's what that transformation towards a modern workplace, digital transformation, maybe some terms that you've heard. We're very good in the tech industry of coming up with our jargon, I know. So, but it really is about making sure that the experience that your employees, your staff are having of, through their use of technology, helps them to do the best work. We increasingly have lots of different tools, cloud-based tools, some that may still be, on premise in the office, and it can be very, what's the word I want to use? Maybe disjointed, fragmented as a user experience. So really, that's what we're trying to achieve here, and what a modern intranet really needs to provide. So let's take a little bit of a deeper dive into the role then of a modern intranet. Now, there's a lot of words on here and a lot of smaller words, so don't worry too much about reading. This is just some imagery from some of our other content. The key bits here I want to focus on is those 5 areas that we talk about. So really, how can an intranet help? Service, improving the service, making it quicker, better, maybe self-help for your clients, depending on what you do and how you do it. But it's by using the technology to help you run through, your operations and deliver your service to your clients, which ultimately results in happier clients. And we know that happier clients mean they stay with you longer, they spend more money, which ultimately helps all of our businesses succeed. The second pillar there that I like to refer to them as pillars is around the collaboration. Now, we've heard a lot about collaboration, I'm sure, over the last 6 months because of that rush to remote working that we've all experienced, and how we can collaborate remotely. And of course, tools like Microsoft Teams, Zoom, Slack, there's lots of tools out there of all help. So yes, collaboration is a key part, but really what we're trying to demonstrate today is how you can go beyond the core use of Microsoft Teams that we've probably all become fairly accustomed to over the last 6 months, how we can go beyond that to actually take it to the next level. Clearly, processes, optimizing those processes. Every business, it runs on its processes, whether it's the operational processes that deliver what you deliver to your clients, whether it's the internal processes around your HR, your marketing, your financial processes. Every business relies on its processes, and many of those are repeatable. So it's really around maybe trying to optimize those processes, make them happen quicker, shorter, and where we can, use technology to automate those. And clearly then off the back of that is the efficiency. That is the result of having, optimized processes, good collaboration, etc. So, that's really where the impact comes to your business. And that final pillar there, agile, flexible, again, that's been a very well used word over the last 6 months, as we've all had to sort of react to the situations we find ourselves in. But it really is about making sure that the technology, the workloads, the applications, the data that your staff need to be using, that they can access that, really anywhere, anytime, any device is sort of an easy way to do that. And I think importantly, is to sort of a nod to the mobile workforce. And I know effectively a lot of us, if we asked to working from home, maybe class ourselves a little bit more mobile, but I'm really talking about the people here that you're field-based, whether it's Salesforce, whether it's engineers, it's your frontline staff. So it's really making sure that we can extend the technology and your tools and your applications out to those to help them become more efficient, more productive, and also provide a better service to your clients. So understand the role of the intranet today. Now, this is really where I just want to try and sort of banish a little bit of legacy intranets, and this it worries me a little bit as we talk here now, trying to advise our clients and the conversations that I and Johan have with our clients when we talk about intranets, because those that have used them in the past obviously have the experience based on that usage. Now, you think back to the 90s and the early decades after that. Just imagine how much technology has changed. Back then, the use of email for a start and mobile phones, they typically, didn't really exist, certainly in those early 90s. So we're using, clunky desktops. There were laptops, but they were pretty heavy at the time. So most people on desktops. We were all connected to servers that were in the office. So we were out of the office. It was really difficult to get access to that information. So again, we were constrained by that physical locality to our data and applications. that's what it was like then, and that's how intranets were built, to service and deliver what they need to do based on that infrastructure. Today, we are just massively different. We're working from any location, any device, I've already said, and we've got lots of different applications. I was, and I can't remember why I was doing this, but I just look back over my sort of the last 6 months. I looked at the applications that I've personally started to use for my role, and I think there were 5 new applications that I'm using now that I wasn't using pre-COVID. So there's a lot of stuff there that actually it makes it really important then that we can bring this stuff together, and we've got there that collaboration, that mobility, that share information and productivity. So yeah, my final point is if you have got experience of intranets and they were based from old legacy, maybe 10, 15 years back, I want you to try and park those out of your mind and remain open-minded as we sort of talk about modern intranets. Right, so the benefits, a huge amount of benefits. It goes without saying. Some we've talked about here. Communication, connecting your company across different locations if you have multiple locations, whether that's UK, globally. Finding information, simplifying onboarding. It's interesting, I'm hearing a lot from our clients around from an HR perspective, actually, and I think that's probably driven by the fact that if people are having to onboard new starters, or potentially unfortunately letting people go, that's become a really difficult thing to do if we're not in the office physically able to do that. So we've got a lot of clients that we've been speaking to that are actually looking at how they need to improve that HR, that onboarding and other HR processes. And of course that's key because the people in your business, they're the people that do the work, do their job, that keep the clients happy, that deliver what it is that you do. And if their first experience of your business through that onboarding is difficult, is clunky, that sets the tone for for their experience with you, and that's absolutely not what you want to be doing, setting that bad tone, that bad perception from day one. Training, knowledge sharing. There's an awful lot of stuff here, but also reinforcing your brand and values. That's incredibly important. I mean, part of my role here is around marketing, and I'm just been working on a campaign with Microsoft in the last couple of days, and be able to sort of I guess reinforce and articulate our values and our brand is massively important, not because we've got around colors and it's the right colors, but actually around what we stand for, how it informs how we act, what we do each day, and a modern intranet really helps to reinforce those constantly across the business. So why would you want to build an intranet site, a modern intranet site on Microsoft Teams? Well, there's different ways of doing it, and Johan will touch on a little bit later. But we have Microsoft Teams, and some of you may be familiar with SharePoint. I don't want to confuse that with Shortpoint, but SharePoint is the Microsoft tool, which ultimately Microsoft Teams is built on. You don't see that when you're using Teams, but that's the infrastructure that it's built on. There's clearly been a huge adoption of Teams over the last 6 months. Teams or Zoom, but particularly within Teams. So that adoption, and what we have clearly seen, we've seen it within CMI, but we're seeing it across the business, and it's a well-known fact. Lots of people talk about this. We are now spending less time in email and more times in Teams. My personal experience is Teams is the application that I have open the majority of times, certainly more time than I have my Outlook client open, because that's now where I communicate and I collaborate and I share files, etc., with my team. So our usage has changed, and if we have adopted Teams within our business, we are now starting to see people become more comfortable with that. And of course, Microsoft is a massive machine. Whether you are a real Microsoft sort of advocate or not, there's no getting away from they are a machine. And Microsoft Teams is clearly where an awful lot of investment is going to be going. So it's only going to get better. So it makes complete sense to build your intranet on something that people are getting more accustomed to. It's going to get a lot more investment. Why wouldn't you? So what has the last 6 months shown? We now are starting to see, through conversations we're having, our own usage, some of the challenges that using Teams has. There's lots and lots of benefits, of course there are. Otherwise, we really wouldn't be using the tool. But as with any tool, there's always a few things that, I wish it did this or it doesn't do that. So, we're now starting to see those and realise those as we become more comfortable. We're demanding more from the application. It's not so much that the application is a poor application; it's that we're demanding more from it as our usage becomes more sophisticated. Teams in itself is maturing. It consistently, weekly, bringing out new features into that, and there's more and more, I guess, sophisticated tools. Shortpoint is a great tool that we identified, and to help deliver that next stage. So there's more and more tools happening. So our usage of Teams, as I referred to in the last slide, is our adoption really is becoming a lot more accepted and ingrained in our day-to-day working lives. But equally, we know that there needs to be some extras that need to be provided to Teams to actually fulfill what we're now really looking for. I referred to some of these challenges. I think Yo will do a screen share a little later on, and we'll just show some of these. But Teams in itself is what we refer to as a flat structure. If you imagine comparing it to whether it's a website where you click into a menu and then you go to a sub menu and you've got that sort of hierarchy, Teams is a fairly flat structure. What we have to remember is Teams was conceived by Microsoft, surprisingly, back in, I think it was 2017, 18, it actually was first released. But it was conceived, it's a collaboration platform. For those of you that are familiar with Slack, it was conceived to compete with Slack. It wasn't conceived to compete with SharePoint and the intranet site. So we have to understand that Teams has its place, which is around creating content, collaborating, communicating, connecting to the apps that we may use. It's becoming our digital workspace, and as I referred to it, is built on SharePoint. What we now need to do is bring the web interface that we're more familiar with on top of that, and layer that on top of that or alongside it, so that we can do what we want to do. Excellent. I've covered the slides I want to do. So I think this point now, what I'm going to do is hand over to Claudia, who will give a quick introduction really to Shortpoint, so we can understand and help you understand who they are. Shortpoint, as I've always referred to, is a partner that we've been working with for a while now. A great set of guys and people over there doing some great work specifically around the Teams application within Microsoft. So Claudia, let me change the presenter to give you control, and I shall leave with you. There we go, that should be coming your way.
Thanks, Graham. Let me just pick the correct screen here. All right, can you see?
Excellent, yes, we can.
Cool. All right, so Shortpoint is a design software add-on, which is compatible with SharePoint 2013, 16, 19 on-premise, and SharePoint Online. Now, depending on the environment, it will be installed either on the farm itself or on the app catalog of the tenant, and it works in both classic and modern experience, and the functionalities are pretty much the same. Now, Sharpen is divided in two main parts. The first one is the page builder, and the second one is the theme builder. The page builder allows you to build each page individually, allowing you to organize the page in a much more efficient way than SharePoint out of the box offers, because you will be having full control over sections and the column dimensions. Now we have more than 60 design elements that will help you build the pages exactly how you want them to be, as every element have many configuration settings dedicated to them. All right. Oops, sorry about that. Wait a second. All right, can you see my screen again?
Yes, that's good. Yeah.
All right, sorry.
Wonders of live demos, huh?
All right, cool. So I was speaking about the theme builder. Now the theme builder will allow you to achieve the look and feel that you want to. And doing so, you can pretty much apply your branding to the entire site collection. And you have things like colors, fonts, and page element that can be changed with the theme builder. Now, differently than the page builder, those settings will involve the entire site collection. If your intranet will involve more than one site collection, you can quickly copy and paste all the changes you've done on the first site to the other site and keep the experience consistent as we provide an import-export feature. All right. So we do also have Office 365 integration. Now, the Power Apps and the Power BI integrations will allow you to embed your apps and graphs directly to your page. And we also have the Teams integration. Now, this connects to specific teams, so you can show only the logged in users' teams or the company teams, all the company teams themselves. Once this is set up on a page, other users will be able to access the Teams files, members, tasks, etc., directly from the intranet site. All right. So one of the most important SharePoint feature is the possibility to connect to every SharePoint data source, SharePoint data source. Now, this can be done on every element. So when you're connecting an element from SharePoint, you can choose one of those connection types. Now we have a couple more, but those are the most important ones. So to give you an example, we could create a SharePoint list where we would store all the company announcements. Then we could use a ticker element and connect that to the list that we just populated with announcements. Now, doing so, the ticker element will be automatically show the entries coming from the list on the page. And as the list gets updated, so will the page displaying the announcements. So you can pretty much handle everything on the back end, being updating the lists and or the libraries in SharePoint and having them showing on the page dynamically. All right. So if you want to create an intranet using the classic experience, SharePoint can make the entire site collection become responsive with one click from the theme builder. And modern sites are responsive out of the box from SharePoint. So just to point out, every SharePoint element is responsive by themselves. So it's going to be a unified experience in all the interfaces. One of our best assets is our demo site, where you can get a very clear idea what to expect from SharePoint. Now, we've seen already a couple of screenshots, but almost everything that is going to be on this site can be quickly copied and pasted on your environment, allowing you to kick off your intranet, avoiding starting from scratch. One of the hardest developing point of an intranet is the beginning. So not starting from scratch is going to help out a lot. All right, so I believe I can show a practical example of this copy paste feature. Let me just bring up the correct page. And I'm going to be showing how quickly it is just to get started. Of course, there's going to be involved some customizations in there, and that's going to be taken care of by CMI, of course. All right. All right, can you see my my screen, my site?
Sorry, Claudia. Yes, again, I was muted. Yeah, all good.
So okay, you can see the demo site right now, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Cool. All right, so this is our demo site, and this is actually a SharePoint site collection. Now, this is built on the SharePoint 2013, and it's being designed only by using Shortpoint without any lines of code. Here we have more than 70 templates ready to be used entirely or partially, and I want to point out the copy-paste function. So I'm just going to open one page here, which is called the Together template. Now here at the top, we have a couple of options. The first one is allow copy parts, and the second one is copying the entire page. You can, of course, browse the entire page like that and see how it is composed. You see we have some slideshow, an events element, some tiles, and so on. So if you think that you want parts of this page, you can enable the copy parts. And when you hover over the actual pieces of this page, you can copy them individually and then paste them directly on your site. In this case, I'm just going to copy the entire page, so you're going to get a good grasp of it. So I'm just going to click on the button here, going on a blank communication site that I have here. This is using the modern experience. So I'm just going to click on the edit button. I'm going to add a new section here. I'm going to use the full width section, which is a perk of the communication site, just to give a better look to that. And I'm going to choose to use the Shortpoint web part. Now, when I click on that, I'm going to be able to access the page builder that I mentioned before. Now, I have a section here, which is composed by a row and a column. I'm just going to remove this since I'm copying an entire page. So I'm just going to take that out and right click and paste. And that's really all it takes to get a good starting point from your homepage. As you can see, I have a collection of sections here that contains all the elements that compose the page. So I'm just going to go up here, and as you can see, there is a little bit of a blank space. I'm just going to remove that by going on this menu and clear spaces before. And I can go ahead and republish the entire page now. As you can see, that was pretty quick. And right now I have the exact template that I copied from the demo site right on my site collection, just with a click of a button. Of course, it is populated with demo content. You would need to go into the settings and change everything according to your company. All right, so the only difference that you can notice here is the color. So here you can see there is this kind of green. And if I go back to my demo site, I'm going to be seeing a light blue. Now, this is because every site collection has its own theme associated with it. So as I mentioned before, we have the theme builder, which is going to be responsible of handling the colors. So everything that you see here can be, of course, adapted to your branding and have your exact look and feel that you're looking for. Great. Well, that concludes my brief overview. I'll hand it back the mic to Graham.
Thank you very much. Yes, that was very useful. I think what I take from that really is I guess how Shortpoint takes the heavy lifting of getting things going. I think those of you that have been involved in web design of any description, whether that's for your corporate website, internal intranets, whatever it may be, there's so much work and effort and involvement in developing the creative, the framework, and that often, whether that's internal resource that takes time and therefore cost, or external expertise, there's a huge chunk of cost there, which is why the intranets, the legacy intranets, as I refer to them, can be so costly. Shortpoint is a great tool that gives us the ability to bypass that, not only from a cost perspective but from a speed perspective, and then actually do what we need to do, which is map your intranet into your business process, and all of the applications, the data sources that you need. So with that, what I want to do now for sort of the last 10 minutes or so is hand over to Johan, who will show you what we're doing internally. So it'll just bring that to life a little bit more in a real way. I guess just a word of warning, our intranet site is still in development, so but it will give you an idea of where it's going, how it can work, and then how that can apply to your business. I think we're hoping to have ours fully functional live this side of Christmas, so we're excited to see that. So yeah, let me pass over to yourself.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, that should be coming your way.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, all good.
Great, thank you. Okay, so as Graham's mentioned, we've kept it, it's a work in progress, but the key thing here with our intranet site is to keep it as basic as possible to begin with. I've seen a lot of companies overcomplicate it, and the issues that they face is that users don't adopt to it, they find it overwhelming, and then they end up not using it. So what we've done for ourselves is we've created a very basic looking site with information that we want to share across all the departments. So as you can see, here's our main landing page, and we've with the company-wide section, we are broadcasting news and updates. So in today's world, what we do is we send company-wide emails about any announcements or company updates. Sometimes people don't have time to read it, or they'll forget about it, or they won't see the email, and then I miss on those updates. Yeah, at least you know that if you go to this main page, you can click on news and updates and see all the company updates in one place. We also have a tab for all our internal systems where it confirms who's responsible for those systems and what we need to do if we have any issues. Or it's also a place where we can share ideas on how to better use the systems. So it's also bringing that whole collaboration to life. We've got all our products and services. So if you click on that, I'll give you an example. We've got everything about the products that we provide to our customers. And if we go, for example, backup, we've got our info sheets, we've got training material, we've got documentation on how to deploy it, our standards, and how to support it and manage it. Now, if we go quickly back to Teams, you can see if I click on the vendor information, there's the list of folders that's displayed on our intranet site. Again, Teams is the place where you basically create the content. Now, if I wanted to share this across the entire business or across all the departments, I would need to invite people to my team and then invite them into this products and services channel in order for them to see that. Now, ideally, I don't want to invite the entire staff force onto my team. So the other option is to share this with them. If I had to share this folder over email, you're guaranteed that someone will come back to you a month or 2 months later saying, oh, can you share that link with me again, please? I can't find it on my email. Or the other alternative is people will need to save that in their Chrome or whatever browser they use into their bookmarks to remember that URL. So this is again where it's really useful having an intranet site and just sharing that information. People don't have edit rights to those documents over here because you don't want them to make changes to them. It's read only, and whenever we make a change in Teams, it will automatically update here on our intranet site. So we try to keep our site as static as possible so that we don't have to constantly look at making changes to it. We make sure that all the changes happens in Teams. Now, we also have our policies and procedures, which links to our ISO portal. And again, events is very similar to our news and updates. So if if there's any new events that we've scheduled, you can go and find it here. Now, just to give you a bit of a demo of our department, and I'll use pre-sales for that, we've standardized each and every department. We've got a tab for About Us, our processes, contacting the pre-sales team, feedback is very important to us, and meeting requests. If we go to the About Us tab, in here you can see who's the team that basically is part of pre-sales. And what we've gone and done is we've made a quick 5-minute video of an introduction about pre-sales, explaining the structure of the department, how to engage with the department, confirming their responsibilities, so it's very clear for the other departments so that they can understand how to engage with you. This is also very important for a new starter. So instead of the manager spending all their time onboarding them, they can just basically browse in this portal on our intranet site and get to know the people who works in that department, get to understand their processes, their procedures. In this video, if I play it, you can actually see that we talk, if we skip through here, about our process flows and how we deal from an opportunity right to delivering it as a project to our customers. So it's very clear who's responsible for what. And again, yeah, on our left-hand side, if you want to get to know the staff a little bit more, we'll click on Ian Bell as an example. It takes us straight to their profile. And then in here, I can see what sort of documents we've been collaborating on, what's been emailed to me. So the days of you searching for emails, just find an attachment, it's gone. You can use this place to discover that content. And if I want to get to know him, I can view his profile, very much similar to a LinkedIn experience. You can read about him, you can look at his skill set, and there's a bit of information about his school and education. Again, we've got a tab here for our processes. If you click on that, you can view all the processes. We are all very busy in today's world. I don't have time to go and read through documentation, but at least it's there. And we use that to constantly look at improving the way we work. So that's why we document our processes. But again, the video is a really useful tool to just kind of streamline that and making it very clear on how to engage with the team. When you click on a contact our team, it will launch Outlook if it's your default email application, and you can send them an email. Another useful thing is feedback. When you click on that, you get a form that you can complete. And it's very important for pre-sales to make sure that people understand the solutions that they're designed for our customers. And if they don't, so for example, if they select no, they didn't really understand it, then it highlights that they need a bit of more training, which we will then arrange with that team. And again, with feedback, it's very important for us, to constantly look at improving. Sometimes you're not aware if there's an issue or people are too busy to address it. If you use a form, it's just quick and easy. They can raise their concerns, and then that will then create an automated flow, and it will notify our team. It will create a task in Planner, and it will schedule it in their calendars to address that issues. And then meeting requests, you can have it set up in two ways. With what we ideally like to do is have a form for people to complete, or you could share your calendar. But using a form is much better because it gives you clarity on what the meeting's all about. So we've got simple questions of what's the client's name, if you have a ticket for it. If they do, we can then review the ticket and then have a look and see what's required. And then just clear questions, what do you need from us in this meeting, so that we can be better prepared for that. What we don't want to do is have a meeting to try and figure out what they need from us. So then we are properly prepared when we meet with our clients, and we know exactly what they need from us. If we go back to our main page, we've got a marketing section as well, which Graham basically manages within Teams. And then if I need anything around document templates, company logos, I can just click on that and find and download it here. You can change the views, to see the images and stuff like that. So it's very easy to use. Another useful thing as well is ordering business cards. Again, it's a form that you complete, submit your job title, how many do you want. Once you hit the submit button, that will go through approval stage. So it will go to your manager for approval. They will approve it. It will go straight to the purchasing team, and then they will place an order. Where with some companies, what I've seen, people send an email to marketing and they say to them, I need business cards. And then they go back to them and say, okay, well, how many do you want? And what is your job title? That takes time. So we try to reduce that by creating a form for that. And then again, if you look at the bottom, we've got our values that we broadcast. Obviously, most of us working remotely now, so we don't have the posters in our office to remind us about our, we can't see that because we're not in office, so we can't see our values. So we just put it down here to just remind people about it. And then you'll see all the applications over here. This is quite useful for ourselves, and I'm sure it will be for you too. These are all the products that we used internally. And if you click on this product, it will take you straight to the login page. So again, you don't have to worry about saving URLs to your browsers to the applications that you use on a day-to-day basis. And that's pretty much our site in a nutshell. Again, keep it simple to begin with. Once staff start using it, they will get more ideas on what else they want to share. It's all about bringing people together, sharing ideas, being more productive. And that's pretty much it from my side.
Thank you very much, Johan. Let me bring this screen back to myself, which I think is there. Excellent. So yeah, again, just to sort of quickly summarize there, really, I think the intention of that was just to try and give you some understanding of actually how this can work in practice, and some of those examples that Johan was providing at the end. They're little examples, whether it's the business card, the forms, etc. But they're simple examples of those processes that do exist, that are time-consuming, error-prone, etc., etc. So just some practical examples that hopefully now you can take those. I guess those thoughts into your own business and start to think around, you know, those processes you have, you know, the meetings you have with, you know, maybe new staff where you're repeatedly having to go over the same information that maybe, you know, at some parts can be done in a different way. So just hopefully to get some ideas. But I think the main thing for me there is it just helps to surface the information in an interface that's easy to search, find, and you know, sensible to use really. I think the one last point I do want to make, and maybe some of it came through there, Johan obviously, you know, works, you know, closely within our pre-sales team, so a lot of what he was talking about was there. But the point I want to make is that intranet, you know, legacy intranets were very much built by the IT function. You know, the modern intranet very much needs to be led by, you know, the department. Now, yes, of course, the central IT will be responsible for building and delivering it, but actually what it needs to do, how it needs to work, the outcomes it needs to deliver need to be led, you know, whether it's your marketing department, your sales, your operation, it needs to have your fingerprints all over it. So I'd really encourage to engage, you know, the wider business. Okay, so last minute or two, just really to let you know how we can help, you know, beyond just Teams and intranets, etc. You know, that whole, you know, that journey towards the modern workplace, digital transformation. You know, it really can have an impact on your business. You know, whether that's, you know, reducing costs, efficiencies, happier people that stay longer, make clients happy. You know, there's so many ways we can demonstrate the positive impact that modern workplace will have. So we're here to help really, you know, raise your awareness through sessions like this, you know, help you understand, you know, what you can do, what you are doing, maybe, you know, put some initial sort of quick fixes in place. You know, everything's there. We're here to help. And, you know, where the Microsoft tools don't provide the functionality, that's where we look to our partners like Shortpoint, previously 8x8 from telephony, or InfoSec from security. Now that's where we help to, I guess, understand the market, understand which partners are good, where they add the value, and we bring them into our solutions to provide to you. Excellent. All right, so that really is the last of it. I just want to bring your attention to, you know, go to our website, cmi.com/events. The recording for this will be available there sort of later today, possibly tomorrow, and obviously all the previous webinars, whether it's security, telephony, availability, they're all there for you to go and you know, take a look at as you need to. I think the one thing I would just like to sign off with is a little bit of a cheeky favour maybe. You know, we're building a really good following here on these webinars, which is great to see. I'd really like each of you to think about if you've got any clients that you work with that you'd like to help, and maybe you know that they'd benefit through something like this or some of our services. So it's just a bit of a cheeky ask, but you know, we're here, you know, we're I guess to help each other. If you can help us, we can help you, etc. So if you do already know anybody, I'd be hugely appreciative of an introduction. With that, I'm going to sign off. Thank you for attending. Like I say, do take a look at the recording, share that as you will do, and feel free to give me a call, Johan, or your account managers here at CMI if you've got any other further questions. Okay, thank you and have a good day.
Thank you.